whenever you're ready.
Yeah, first and foremost, a big thank you to all the traveling Union fans that made this feel like another home game. We're loud for the entire game, pushed us on. Obviously, a tired group with the the 3 games in 6 days, which is difficult for the guys, but I think they found energy. This rivalry tends to bring out the best in our group, and it was a big 3 points. I think we were all disappointed with losing to a very strong Columbus team at home, but had a good response tonight and got an important 3 points tonight.
And we all spoke yesterday about your desire for the team would want to do better to take advantage of what Michael can bring, put him in better positions.
Yeah.
Did that right out of the gate tonight. And I wonder, in a game where the ball's flying all over the place, and this game always that happens. How do you make sure you guys are paying attention to see when he's got a one-on-one that he can exploit and go out?
Yeah, I think, first of all, big picture-wise, if you look at the first 15 minutes of our Columbus game and the first 15 minutes of this game, that's us at our best, So we have it in us, and now the challenge is to sustain it for all 90. I thought in the second half we had a little bit of a dip, which I think is due to maybe some fitness and Red Bull pushing down with us up 2 goals. But with the way Red Bull plays with Mikel, he's a weapon because their center backs are brave and they'll step on the other side of midfield, and that leaves him open in transition. I thought he came off the back line a couple times and set them up early to receive some balls at his feet, right, and then lays them back to Danny, which then sets up the next play where now the center backs are aggressive and maybe overplay him, and then he can get in behind. So we need those runs in behind. What people don't realize is it creates so much space for Gazdag to operate underneath. Doesn't mean Mikel gets the ball every time when he makes those runs, but it makes the center backs drop 5-10 yards deeper, and now Danny has more room to operate. So it's an important piece to our group, and I thought that when you see Mikel, when you see Ty and Danny play like that, I think we're going to be hard to play against. Of course, can we sustain it for longer stretches of time? That's our challenge. But on the road against a team in Red Bull that's hard to play against, I thought that they had a really great first half, and then I'll just call it a gutsy second half where we're kind of hanging on. And look, you need a little bit of a bounce to go your way to get results on the road. Andre made some very big saves, as we all know, but that's the Mikel that like I talked to you, we challenge him, and he usually steps up in those moments. But now it's like I don't want to challenge anymore. I just want it to be like that the rest of the way.
Jack McGlynn's role in that goal too, because
Yeah,
he's got a connection with Mikel that's shown it over his hand in the
sure.
building.
Yeah.
What's his role in all of that, and playing matchups in midfield and things like that on a night like this? He's probably going to have some looks like that to play those passes.
Yeah, it sounds counterintuitive, but Jack McGlynn is the perfect player for a Red Bull game, because when everybody else is 1,000 miles an hour, he can kind of have that calm and say, I got this. And when someone's sprinting at him, maybe make a deceptive move to get out of pressure and then play a through ball. So you need a brain. You need a guy that can make a pass that unlocks an aggressive team, and that's still a very good Red Bull team. But we have a way of little things that we do against them that I think give them problems too. And it's one of the big pieces is Jack being calm on the ball when everyone else is going 1,000 miles per hour. I think you saw some really good combinations, even on the plays we didn't score. I liked a lot of those even more. The 2 goals from outside the box, that's great, but we could have had 3 or 4 tap-ins too. They could have scored. It could have been a 4-4 game. Don't get me wrong. They had chances as well, but we'll take the points, and I thought Jack did a great job.
All right. Jim, Andre Blake, first 20 minutes, it was back and forth.
Yeah.
He makes some big saves there. And as you get into the 34th minute, the defense started to calm down and see the calm presence of Andre kind of Jack and Jake calm down a little bit. What were you seeing? What did you just think overall on the night from that defense and Andre working together?
Yeah, he's again, I say it all the time, but he's the best goalkeeper in the league. So the saves he makes early on, where yes, we score early and have a great start, but now with Van Zier, the 1v1, he makes a huge block. He kind of, like you said, is hard on and firm on the back line. When he speaks, everyone kind of listens on the back line. He doesn't doesn't scream a ton, but he lets them know when they need to raise their level. So we all have so much respect for Andre. We're fortunate to have him. I thought his kicking tonight also was excellent. Like all the amount of diagonals that we played to Tolkien's side, where Ali had a good matchup in the first half. Those little details, I think we got right, and we've come away with a big 3 points. But Andre certainly had a huge night for us. Makes so many big saves. And again, I say it 100 times this year. It's not a knock on our other goalkeepers, but that's what makes us who we are. Our back line responds to having him in the goal, and that's when we'll get the most points when he's in there.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, with Danley playing the full 90 tonight.
Yeah, really good.
You please assess his performance.
Yeah, so I think you saw. Well, first of all, it's a perfect matchup because it's second balls, it's tackle, you're up quick. There's no time to really even think, and that suits his skill set. What I think you saw though with Danley tonight was I think his composure on the ball. So again, when you come from French League One and you jump into MLS, as unique as our league is, he's playing week in and week out against PSG and high level teams where he has to defend for 90 minutes. And now I think you see the good defensive instincts, but then you can also see composure in tight spaces. So some of the passes he played into Danny, you're starting to see some of the relationships come. Balls he played to Jack, I think he did a great job, not only defensively, but playing forward. I think we'll all talk about the athleticism. I'm actually going to be curious to see when the physical data comes back as we track how far each guy runs. I think it's going to be off the charts for him. But then you see even something that I liked at the end of the game where he makes that burst into the box and he gets into the we call the assist zone, which is the perfect zone for an 8 in our system in the diamond. So he can probably do that too against the right opponent in the right night. So and he plays across. It should have been a tap in. It just I think Ty's feet get stuck, or he's got 3 games in his legs in the past couple of days. So we should have scored more too. But that was a great performance from Danley. Really proud of him. Not easy to come into a new team, language barrier. I think that the thinking was to start Ali with him just for communication and Ali knowing the intensity and what a Red Bull game needs. I think they did a great job in the first half, and we held on in the second half, if I'm being honest.
I think heard you a lot about fitness and
Yeah.
now obviously going into a little bit of a break. Is it a little frustrating to not be able to build off of this right away? I know it's on a sprint here at the tail end of the season.
Yeah, it's been a little stop and start for us all year when we get some momentum. Maybe a player goes out or to get transferred or something like that. We can't keep that rhythm going. In this instance, it just falls at a time where we have an international break, and it looks like it's going to align that we get a certain player back fully healthy from Miami by the time we play them there, which is again kind of the way it's gone this year for us. But we are still in a position to get in the playoffs. Whether we deserve that or not right now, you can talk back and forth on. But that's the way our league is. We recognize we have to beat the teams that are in kind of direct competition with us. We'll rest, we'll recover. Guys will go away with the national team, hopefully stay healthy. And then we obviously have really tough games in Miami and then New York City, 2 really good teams with the ball. So again, it's going to be tough for sure. But I do wish we had, a little more, rhythm where it was just us playing 1 game a week would be nice for a little while, but you don't get that luxury after the little leagues cup run and now an international league. That's just the schedule.
And then if you could talk a little bit about the work done to limit Lewis Morgan to
Yeah.
how little he did today, which is pretty rare for someone of his talent.
Yeah, he's a great player, and you hope you catch him on an off night. Look, on a different night, he could have scored 3 or 4 goals. So I'm a realist. Manuel could have had 4 goals as well tonight. So sometimes with him, you're trying to limit where he touches the ball. I think our quick start to the game made them have a little indecision in their group, and you could see some frustration, which is what you want on the road. But he still has so much quality. Right foot, left foot, he can hit that curler to the back post. And like I said, on a different night, the one to start the second half, I've seen him score that. I've seen him score that pretty consistently, and he just hit it a little high, and it goes off the bar. So one of those nights where we need a couple breaks too, when the other key players for them are just. He didn't have a bad game, but he was just a little bit off, So, and we did a good job trying to limit where he touched the ball. I think the great play at the end of the game even kind of the double team where with Kai at the end of the game where they steal it off them. It just was being relentless, getting around their good players. And sometimes we do keep it simple. Take away the opponent's best players and do the things that we do well as best we can.
Thank you. Congrats.
Yeah.
Jim, do you have a height advantage? Basically, that your position playing the long ball worked pretty well. What did you see going into the game?
Yeah, I think you saw us. If you go back to the ideas and the tactics, and they're simple. Sometimes we overcomplicate this game, but if you go back to even the Cincinnati game where we knew a player was playing out of position for Cincinnati, and we were pretty relentless going to that side with balls in the air, big diagonal switches, with Bedoya and his intelligence and physicality to win and hold knockdowns, and the way that Lewis Morgan does push forward a lot. We knew if Ali wins the first one and Mbaizo joins him or Gazdag overloads on that side, we could get extra numbers against them. And Tolkien's a great, incredible defender, no question about it. But he's not the biggest. So we went at that area with a lot of diagonals, and it gave them some problems. They gave us a lot of problems though too on the night. So it was a situation where that diagonal ball you saw, McGlynn hit it a bunch to him. You saw Jack Elliott hit a lot of balls over there. Even Andre played a lot direct over that way. And it becomes about maybe you don't win the first one initially, but then that second ball and the knockdown could lead to some chances. And I think we did a good job on that.
Jim, going back to Danley.
Yeah.
With Jose Martinez, we saw him play a lot of diagonal balls when he was here, but Danley was playing a lot of there's split passes
on the ground. Yeah.
Specifically to Jack Glenn on the first goal you guys scored.
Yeah.
How big of a weapon can that be for you guys going forward?
Yeah, especially against good pressing teams like Red Bull. That we call it like a mini switch. So again, it's a good hard ball on the ground that a guy catches quick and sets him up to play the next one and gets you off that side just as fast as maybe a long floated diagonal. Sometimes when you hit a long 80-yard ball, the ball that Jacob hits a lot, that player who receives it is really isolated and doesn't have help, But when it goes to Danley and then Danley to Jack, it gives Kai some time to get himself forward as well, and then it lets the forwards know when to run. So there's a lot of kind of nuance to it. I prefer the good crisp balls 30 yards on the ground because it sets up the next guy. A ball in the air, if you think about it, you're waiting for it. It takes some extra time to bring down. So all definitely good ways to play. But Danley had I thought a really quiet, great game tonight, which is what you want out of a six. You don't want to notice them. It's like an offensive lineman. When you don't talk about them, they're having a great game. So that was really good from Danley.
Talking about Bedoya, he came off pretty early. It seemed like was that an injury? It looked like he was looking for.
Look, going into the game, it was going to be. I said to Ali and Quinn, to both of them, and I hate doing this before games. I said 45 minutes each, and that's how it's going to go. Ali's going to start just to we knew Red Bull would throw a lot at us because they're fresh and they have a week rest where we would be a little tired. I said, Ali, you empty the tank in the first 45, get through the physical parts and the ugly parts of the game, and then when it opens up, Quinny, you're going to come. Then we got to halftime and played pretty well, and I said, let's try and go for 5 more minutes or so. And Ali had a little bit of a knock in his leg. I think it's just a muscle injury, so he'll be fine. But Quinny came in and helped us as well. So it's all there.
So come to Red Bull Arena tonight and in reference to their first loss at home in the season.
Yeah.
So another gutsy performance on the road. We've seen a couple of them this season. Thinking back to Cincinnati and Cup, Portland earlier this season. But with the struggles at home, is there anything that the team can try differently, whether that's routines or anything like that, in order to try to get more comfortable playing at home again and picking up points at home down the stretch?
Yeah, our home form, Jimmy, kills us right now, because we lost to, I don't want to say bad teams, but we dropped a lot of points in positions where we should have been comfortable and maybe deserved points. And it hurts. So I don't have the answer as to why we've lost so much. I know it's unacceptable, and I will not go through another season where it happens. So we'll do everything in our power to change it. But maybe the guys do feel, I don't want to say pressure, because they've been through the battles there. They've won a lot. Sometimes when you try to do more at home, it leads to mistakes. And I think that's what you've seen a lot this year. The guys want to help so bad because they fight so hard for the fans, for the badge, for everything, and they're experienced. So it's the same guys. not the same, but pretty much the same group. And we've had really just uncharacteristic results at home. And we've made big mistakes that this group shouldn't make. And then maybe when we come on the road, we're a little bit looser. And we know the pressure's not as much on us and you play loose. But we have to bring it back to home because at the end of the day, if we don't win our last 3 home games, we're not going to make the playoffs. So I've told them that. They're against direct competitors. You got DC United, Atlanta. That's really going to be the big one. Obviously, we go away to Orlando where they're kind of in and around us. And then that last game against Cincinnati hopefully means nothing for them and everything for us. You know, one of those situations where how the schedule breaks. But you're right. The home form has been unacceptable. We have to take more confidence in that building. You can't be. I think at one point we won 60 games and only had 3 losses, and then this year it's 7 losses. I don't like even talking about it. It makes me angry. So we'll try to get it right, and I can promise it's something that we want to get in the playoffs this year and do our thing still. But next year also that's unacceptable. We have to win our home games. Our fans deserve that.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, thanks guys.